thrilled for it.
Presenting Franks with Turbo Booster Jet Engine.
Nexa.
And so we approach match 66 of this year's IPL. A little bit of history attached to this fixture. Punjab Kings and Delhi Capitals. It was the unfortunate game in Dharamshala that had to be called off in troubling times. Now we will have a replay for the first time as the two teams have moved from Dharamshala to Jaipur for this occasion. That will be the adopted home for Shreyas Iyer's side in what are two significant games with a great opportunity to make the top two spot, having already qualified for the playoffs. DC, can they spoil their party? And it's been that theme last few days of spoiling the party for the teams at the top. So this should be a good one. Next up presents ESPN Cricket for Timeout. Let's see if the theme continues. We continue with our theme. Tom Moody, Anil Kumble, excellent combination. Dustin Silgardo, also an excellent addition to the team. I am not changing anything in my top three. DC have also changed nothing from that pivotal game against MI, where Akshar Patel continues to miss out. It's such a shame. Their season was on the line and now you have Faf du Plessis, your captain's not there. It's not the ideal way to finish, Anil, but as DC approach their final league game now in what's been a disappointing campaign, what can they look forward to today?
Yeah, hopefully win a game and you know, certainly look at finishing off. They started exceptionally well, but then just went apart. You know, and that's something that you don't want to see in a franchise. And with Akshar missing out last game and this game, we don't know what the reason is. You know, flu in the last game. I'm guessing he's still not recovered. He hasn't recovered. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be a challenge for them to sort of see and ignore the fact that they had a great chance to qualify. I mean, that will still be gnawing at you. And so you would want to finish this tournament on a winning note. It's
dangerous to assume that the team on top shall get over the line, as the last 48 hours have shown us.
Yeah, well, the first thing that comes to my mind is you look at Punjab and the way they've played this year. They've been the story of uncapped players, and it's been sensational to see the uncapped players basically carry this side right through to the point they're in now. But in saying that, this is going to be the true test for the uncapped players because they can see the finishing line, and that then can be a massive distraction. So you can pretty much guarantee that Ricky Ponting pretty much would have talked about that. Let's just focus on what's in front of us. Don't look too far ahead about trying to qualify first or second. You know, don't worry about the fact we haven't been in the the finals for many years. Let's just concentrate on this game. The very next ball you're either going to bowl or the very next ball you're going to face.
What are we looking forward to today, Dustin, in all seriousness?
Well, Punjab have been, I actually think they've kind of been like the SRH of last season. They've been the most exciting team in terms of batting. If you look at any of the metrics in terms of, the aggressive intent or the aerial shots they've hit, they are the fastest scoring team of the tournament, and they've been willing to do that even though they've lost wickets at times. They've lost on average 2 wickets in the power play, on average 3 in the middle overs, but they just have faith in the depth in batting, and they're okay to sometimes be, 4 down for 120 in 12 overs, and they've been a very exciting team to watch. Maybe conditions have also favoured them at the grounds that they've played, but they've, I think, been that sort of gun team like SRH were last season.
But that example that you talked about, the 4 down for 120, they're happy to be that. It's a little bit different, though, when you see the finishing line of finals and the implications of all those things when you're 4 down for 120 against it being just a standard league game to continue to climb up the table.
But what has worked for them is that most of their batters are in form. All of them have done really well, so that should augur well for them.
You're looking at the points table. What a story for the Delhi Capitals, and I can feel the disappointment of the Delhi fans. With 4 wins out of 4, and we said this before, it's not worth repeating if you're a Delhi fan, but no team has ever failed to make the playoffs after winning their first 4 games of an IPL league season. Delhi are in some unwanted history there. Punjab have qualified. Win here will guarantee a top 2 spot, which is so crucial when you have players potentially missing, and in general with the history of IPL winners and champions, you want to make it to the top 2. I'd like for both of you to actually put yourselves in either management's shoes here. One for Delhi, how long can that feeling of, oh, we should be playing for the playoffs, stay once something like this has happened for the Delhi side? And for Punjab, exactly that. How easy to avoid thinking about the stakes here top two. Oh, LSG, RCB have missed out on the top two. GT haven't sealed it yet. Our chance right now. Let's start with Delhi in terms of how long players can linger on that feeling of regret.
Yeah, it'll take a while but you'll have to just see this game and then see how best you can sort of not just look at winning the game, but also creating an impact and making an impression for the next season. Because I'm sure the players who are going to be seen today from Delhi Capitals would be thinking of that as well as individuals. How can I now ensure that I go off sign off on a nice note as a bowler or as a batter, and that's something that I'm sure all the players will be looking forward to. It's not easy being in that position where you know that this is the last game and then you're going home. I'm sure the thoughts would be
you could have checked out mentally.
Checked out mentally and saying, okay, let's go. But there'll be some pride to sort of go there and then do the job.
Well, there's huge motivation for both management and players for this to be a successful finish to their season, regardless of it, meaning nothing when it comes to finals. How long does it take? It's been 17 years that I'm still regretting missing out on the finals in a particular game way back against Chennai Super Kings up at Dharamsala, so it doesn't go away.
Yeah,
it still burns inside. Just think, if only we didn't miss that run out, or we didn't drop that catch, or whatever it may be. So it just sits in you for a long time, but you manage to bury it.
Okay, let's have a detailed chat on Delhi and see if the management has started thinking on these lines going forward. Dustin, we brought it up before.
Yeah.
Number of opening pairs shows struggling top order, and whether there's some judgments have already been made on Faf du Plessis, Abhishek Porel, Karun Nair, Jake Fraser-McGurk, all of whom have an underwhelming season.
For Delhi, the funny thing is, they could end up finishing 5th, which is on the face of it not a bad season, but yet they seem like a squad that may need quite a bit of rebuilding, especially in that top order. I think Tom's mentioned that this could be Faf's last season in the IPL. Jake Fraser-McGurk, you spent a lot of money and he's not even getting in the team. And then it feels like Porel and Karun Nair, okay, you might retain them, but is there space for both in the 11? Because they both seem like similar batters who go at a similar strike rate. I know Karun's had one or two really big innings this season, but in general, he would be considered... can you have Porel, Karun Nair and KL Rahul as your top 3? Or do you want to go for a gun, opener to partner KL Rahul and maybe another fast-scoring batter through the middle? It feels like there could be at least 2 vacancies in the batting lineup, and then, of course, maybe look for 1 or 2 bowlers as well. Or do you think that they've still got a strong squad and it's just tweaking?
No, I think what they probably got confused is once they got off to a great start as a team, they tried to fix the opening combination and then forgot that the middle order was doing well, and then got all the form players to move out of their position and then go to the top and try to fix that. Trying to fix that, they have now let go of the middle order and then created that confusion. And that sort of, filtered into the bowling attack as well. So I guess they'll have to figure out whether KL Rahul should bat at 4. That has changed over the last couple of games. Now he's opening the batting.
So now that's a conversation that is attached to this. If you're saying KL now is going to open for me next season, I guess that also makes a lot of decisions for you. Would you like to see them go in that direction?
If they're going that direction, then they'll have to really look at players who are going to give you that kind of impact in that middle order. Stubbs is there, yes. Akshar Patel is there. But you need another, if not 1, 2 solid impact players who have the power. They'll have to find that in the auction. It's not going to be easy. It'll have to be one of those uncapped players that you're looking for. And you'll have to hope. So it's not like a seasoned guy who has the experience who's going to come in that auction.
So that's what you're also trying to predict. Am I likely to get at the auction, in a small auction next year? Will I get that gun overseas, maybe an experienced one who can do what Faf and Jake Fraser-McGurk couldn't do? Or can I keep KL at the top with one other opener and say, I'll try and get a specialist number 4 or 5, a flexible batter perhaps?
I think the first thing you do is you ask KL Rahul where he wants to bat. And I think the answer to that 2 months ago was at the top of the order. And he didn't get his wishes. He ended up in the middle, and now he's back at the top. So I think we know what the answer of that is. He wants to open the batting. Abhishek Porel, there's been quite a bit of commentary around him having a disappointing season. If we look at his numbers, he actually hasn't had that bad a season for a young player that's an emerging player. I think we can be a little bit critical around and impatient around young talent. I'd definitely be patient with him because he's a two-skill player. He can keep for you if you're needing to fill that void, and he's an exciting left-hander that's only going to get better and better. So, KL definitely at the top of the order. You got Purrell, and then you get an overseas impact player to support Aksa and Stubbs, and you're away.
Yeah, I guess the funny thing is the expectations from uncapped players have changed because of uncapped players. Priyansh Arya and Vaibhav Suryavanshi and whatnot, and now you're seeing Purrell as a 2 or 3 season player.
This is 1 year out of 18 years we've seen this outlier situation. You know, we haven't really seen as many uncapped players step up and have like quite defining seasons.
I guess the key here is, sorry Dustin, but when you look at him through the lens of a scout, a coach, you're trying to predict potential. Now, are you seeing someone who's got a high ceiling, who can be a dynamic player, or is he just a serviceable squad member, which you can then replace? I can tell you with
Abhishek
Purrell, I can tell you he's been dropped today, so he's not playing today.
Yeah, well, that's really disappointing.
Yeah. So that maybe tells us.
That is really disappointing. Because I look at him from afar. I've obviously never worked with him, and I think there's upside. There's some exciting upside there. So let's hope that he's not dropped because of so-called form. He's dropped because he's also got the flu.
Karun Nair is back.
I guess
in the test side or in the...
Very good, Thomas. Both. Karun Nair is back.
I guess more than, I mean, I agree that Purrell is somebody who you're looking at in the 11. It's more about how do you fit the batters together, because the thing is with KL, you want to pair him with then a really dynamic opener, right? Because the problem is Karun and KL together, they both strike at about 140 in the power play. You want to ideally pair a batter like KL with somebody who can go 160 in the power play. And then KL's role becomes clear, okay, you bat through. And I guess that's where the issue is, or then does Purrell just fit in at 3? And then you find the gun opener to open with KL.
Well, you stay patient with Fraser McGurk. They've invested. He's a young player, and we know his ceiling is, you know, potentially as high as anyone's, but he just needs to work out the game. And you're talking another 12 months down the track, he's going to play a lot of cricket between now and then. To me, if they release Fraser McGurk now, it's nearly like they've lost the vision of him being a 10-year player for DC, you know, and suddenly look back and he'll be another player that DC have let go, playing at another franchise, you know, scoring runs for fun.
But you brought up the point that he's actually missed form
for a year, yeah.
So you can also get that wrong sometimes. So you thought he was a 10-year player, but no, maybe we overestimated it. Teams are better prepared for him. Stubbs is a 10-year player, but maybe Fraser McGurk is not. You can make that decision, or is it still too soon?
Yeah, I mean, you can make that decision. I think it's also important as to where you want KL to bat. You know, ideally, I thought in this team, at the start, KL should have stuck to 4.
Started at 4?
Stuck to 4.
Stuck to 4, right.
Irrespective of what was happening around him. Because I thought they were too panicky in terms of fixing the top order and then meddling with the middle order where it was working. I felt that Stubbs should have come up a bit more. Yes, Aksa was fine, but at some point you have to also take a call of pushing Stubbs and KL Rahul together. And that to me was you know, keeping him holding him back, and then when things go wrong, then he comes in, it becomes difficult. So I guess it's just a matter of trying to see what you want. If KL Rahul opens the batting from next season, then you need certainly somebody in the middle order who has that power.
All right, let's just, the 4 players we've mentioned, I wonder if we can pretend like we're all Delhi Capitals management, and I'm sure management meetings are just like this, polite, and everyone gets a nice opinion, and there's no tempers flying, no disagreements. I'm sure you all have been in such high pressure meetings in owners' boardrooms and what. Retain or release? Just if you want to give me one line of thinking. Faf du Plessis?
Release.
Yeah, I think probably release.
Abhishek Purrell?
Retain.
Yeah, retain.
I've changed the order. It's like everyone's copying Tom. Karun Nair?
Depends. It's, yeah, you don't, question mark.
Okay, unsure.
Release.
Retain, but not a guarantee in the 11.
And Fraser?
And just on Karun Nair, the reason I say release is I look at his history as an IPL player. I'm not looking at a little snapshot of what we've seen, which is really skewed by one innings.
Yeah, I mean, you can see Dustin's point, a squad member perhaps, but
Yeah,
sometimes
squad member, yeah.
But that
having
just
them in the
creates-
squad is always going to tempt you to go in that direction.
Exactly, it just creates confusion.
Okay, and finally, Jake Fraser McGurk.
Retain.
Out release.
Release, okay.
I think there's potential uncapped players that you can look at.
I mean, I'd look at what happens between now and they have some time before they announce the retentions, right? So, does he have any cricket between
We
now
don't
and
have time now, though. It's retain or release.
I will also
I never thought I'll have to get you to, give
okay,
me the-
retain.
retain.
Yes, we got it out of him.
I mean, Tom knows his game better than I do, so I'm just copying him.
It doesn't stop you in the past. Let me talk KL Rahul, then let's see if you balance.
Hey, you talk about the numbers now, Dustin. I'm putting you on the spot.
No, of
Numbers.
course.
What does
JFM's
numbers tell you?
over the last 12 months have been very poor. But last season he was one of the fastest striking players in the power play. It was one season.
Yeah.
He does sometimes look like, I mean, his batting style is something quite different to what we've seen. But it's difficult.
Here's my thing with him, and tell me if you could have thought of this line of thinking, either of you. Once you dropped him, and Faf came in, and then Faf also had to be, had his challenges. Why not give him a second
Yeah,
go?
they should have.
See what that does for hunger, motivation. Because he was the only player who had at least the method to be disruptive at the top.
Has he returned to...
We'll look at the Delhi team in a second, but it's too late now. I'm just saying when they were wondering,
Yeah.
why not give him a
Definitely.
second?
Yeah, they should have. They should have. He's a bit like Maxi, right? I mean,
Yeah.
he's a bit like that. You
Yeah.
know that if he comes off, you're winning.
And the thing with the reason I say retain, and it's not based on his last 12 months because it's been very ordinary his last 12 months. The reason I say retain is purely based on he's got a huge upside. There's some players that have got massive upside, and he's still working out his game and understanding it. He's got all the shots, but he's in a way because he's got so many options and he's got so much talent. He just needs to filter that and simplify his game.
Yeah.
And instead of thinking he can strike at 220 every time he walks out to bat, 160 is not bad. We'll take 160, and every now and then you might find it's 185.
Yeah, I mean,
I think there was one time where he said that he was asked a question and he said, I never think about taking singles. I just think about 4s and 6s, and then off the last ball of the over, I like to take a single just so that I can hit a 6 off the first ball of the next.
That's like playing league cricket in the country, isn't it?
that's the thing. If you look at his season, he's had 5 innings where he faced less than 10 balls. So even if sometimes I've heard from wise people like yourselves, it's hard to tell how out of form you are when that's how you play. He's had that 138 of 32. But the IPL is so long a tournament, you can almost treat one season like 2. And then either way, you have more clarity on Fraser McGurk. And now I have a better judgment. I gave him time out of the bench, see what he's made of, put him back in, and it still didn't work. So they might have missed
But
a
they were
trick.
still in contention, so it's not like some of the other sides who are out of contention. They were trying to.
I'm
get
saying
into
it would
the
have been a
playoffs.
positive move, not
Of course.
not a
And
defensive.
they were
move.
winning. See, that's where I
Yes.
sort of disagreed with the kind of intent that they came through with as well. Yes, he was not scoring runs. He was getting out less than 10 balls. But Delhi were winning.
Team was winning, yes.
Team was winning. So when you're winning, you don't look to sort of tinker.
You can carry.
unnecessarily.
You can carry
You can
people.
carry people. And then you know that he's someone who's explosive. He may come good because the team is winning.
Sure. Let's look at the Delhi team, see if there are any changes other than that of note. First game for Sadiq Al Atal, a very late named replacement, the Afghan opener for Harry Brook. Mohit Sharma is back, Karun Nair is back. So we still don't see, curiously, KL Rahul on the bench. He was on the bench at the Wankhede as well, no Aksar Patel and no Madhav Tiwari as well, which was a curious selection in a must-win game.
Natarajan either.
Natarajan missed out in the last one too.
Yeah.
So no, they've stuck with Mukesh Kumar. What would you have done with that team?
Well, for a start, Atal, I quite like that selection because I see him as part of the future. So have a look at him for sure. He's an exciting young Afghan opener that plays quite an aggressive brand of cricket. But the two older players in Karun Nair and Mohit Sharma, I just don't see the value in playing them. I really don't. What are you gaining out of that?
I mean, I guess maybe just looking at whether they are going to be part of the plans next season.
But one game? It's not like they're a young player.
That's what confuses me about Atal as well. You had nothing to lose if you even played him in the Wankhede. So let's give you 2 games. Let's see what that's. This is one game. This is.
Yeah.
So that's. Oops, sorry. That seems like the thought process of Delhi. I mean, they've looked at tinkering the opening partnership quite
Yeah,
a bit.
This is the
now
eighth.
Well, they're being consistent.
Yeah, I know.
They're being very
Tom.
consistent.
I know.
Maybe they're trying to set some kind of record. The most number of opening
Well, they have.
partnerships in any
They've
other
won
league.
it.
They're giving everyone a fair amount of unequal opportunities, or limited
Yeah,
opportunities.
so it's a bit strange just to give that one opportunity.
Okay, that's the Delhi team for you. Let's have a look at the Punjab team. And they have plenty more to play for. Welcome back, Josh Inglis. Welcome back, Marcus Stoinis. Remember, Janssen and Inglis are both likely to make their way to national duty after the league stage. In fact, I believe the South Africans are even leaving on Sundays. So this might be the last game for Janssen. Just waiting on confirmation for it. But that's the team that they've gone with. Prab and Priyansh, what a story they've been. And this is the return of Inglis. Right. Let's talk Shreyas Iyer. Impact of Iyer the batter, Iyer the captain, new franchise, new setup, and how big that has been to their success story.
No, he's been brilliant. As a captain, as a leader, he's led from the front. He's been IPL captain for a few seasons. He's won a tournament. So all that confidence coming into a new franchise, I think he's carried the uncapped players really well. And they have responded exceptionally well. And the kind of sort of investment that Punjab has had with the players like Prap Simran and Shashank Singh has borne fruits, and Nehal Vadera has been exceptional for them. Priyansh Arya, is probably the player of the season in terms of an uncapped player coming in and performing for a franchise. And I think Shreyas, has played a key role there.
I wonder how you rate the difficulty level in terms of the achievement of having led 3 franchises into the playoffs. The great captains of the IPL like Dhoni and Rohit, they've done it with one franchise. And I wonder where Shreyas ranks in terms of achievement, knowing that leading a new franchise is perhaps one of the hardest things to do, fair to say?
I think it's too early to compare him to both Dhoni and Rohit, but let's just isolate him alone. It's quite extraordinary what he's done and what he's achieved to this point. I think what it shows you, given that he's done this now with 3 franchises, as you say, and been successful as a leader, is that he's clearly got sound leadership skills and tactical nous on the field, and he's also got that sort of calm appearance out the middle. And I think the more and more I watch IPL cricket, I think the more and more that's really important, that you have a captain that has that sort of real sense of calm out there, because it is a tough game. And if your leadership group, particularly if your leader standalone, is too invested, too hyped in the moment, the wheels can fall off for everyone else around.
He's a bit of a mysterious character, isn't he, Shreyas? Because sometimes the on-screen persona he has, it feels sometimes that maybe that's not, fully his personality. He likes to use a lot of big words, sometimes becomes a bit of a meme for it. And but what kind of a character do you think he actually is in the dressing room?
Oh, I haven't really spent too much time with Shreyas in the changing room, but I think, in terms of what I've seen, he certainly is tactically good.
Yeah.
He's used his bowlers really well, in terms of even defending that 111 against KKR, which I'm sure KKR will be thinking, what if? But
I mean, Delhi would be thinking, they made that call all those years back.
yeah, true.
That Pant will lead even when Shreyas returns.
Yeah, and
We've seen
KKR
the
as
graph
well.
of the
KKR
two.
as well. I mean, you need a strong leader who you can build a team around, and Shreyas is one which Punjab have found now. So I think KKR missed that trick. If they could have held on, or with Delhi as well. Delhi missed that trick as well with leaving Shreyas back into the auction. So in that sense, I think he's done exceptionally well.
Does he strike you as someone who perhaps isn't given as much credit for his captaincy and is more in the shadow of the coaches, high-profile coaches that he's worked with, Ricky Ponting, Gautam Gambhir? And is this a season that has changed that narrative, or do we still say no, but this is a relationship that's working of Ponting and Shreyas?
Yeah, I think the captain should get the credit. I mean, coaches always are at the back.
Not just as a captain, I thought last season he probably didn't get enough credit for his batting, because yes, Salt and Narayan were doing amazing things at the top, but when you actually go deep into the numbers, Shreyas's batting through the middle overs was key for KKR. His ability to hit spin, which they've not had this season.
Yeah.
They've really missed him actually. And you look at his contributions, I think 8 wins for Punjab this season, 5 of those wins he's got 30 or more. So it's not just the big knocks, but even when he doesn't get a big knock, he'll get you a 30 or 15 or that kind of innings, he's always making some kind of
I mean,
impact.
this season his batting has been outstanding.
Yeah, yeah. And you could nearly excuse him for trying to start slowly to just bed himself into a new franchise, but he came out of the blocks quickly, didn't he? The one thing I've heard, not that I've worked with him, one thing I've heard though about him and his leadership is that he's very good with all the young Indian players. So therefore, there's absolutely no surprise to see the young Indian players thrive under his leadership. So, you know, obviously is very mindful of the whole squad and bringing them all to the party. And I think that's one of the real keys to leadership, whether it's coaching or captaincy in IPL cricket, is creating a culture in a dressing room where your least capped person feels as important as your most capped person.
Yeah, I mean, we had a cricket form piece running a little while back, which was five batters in the Punjab team striking at over 180 and with over 250 runs, and that's four of them who are uncapped. You have Prabh and Priyansh at the top, you have Shashank in the middle, Shreyas himself, and Nehal Vadera. And speaking of Vadera, who has played under Rohit Sharma in the past, Nehal Vadera said, "This is the best captain I've played under."
It's a big call, isn't it? Very big call. And what a player he is too. Another exciting player.
I said he's also his current captain, so a lot of players say that about the person captaining him now.
That's better. That's more like it from you. Good old Dustin. All right. On that note, Shreyas Iyer, it's excellent. The toss has gone Delhi's way, though. And I wonder this makes this a little more of an even game in case we were thinking that Punjab are strong favourites over here. Jaipur has not been an easy ground to defend in, even though that's what Punjab did in the last game against Rajasthan.
Yeah, I mean, there have been 3 teams that have defended successfully and 2 that have chased. It really depends on the pitch. This is also the ground where Vaibhav Suryavanshi scored that innings. So, you know, you do get some flat pitches too. But yeah, there have been some games where, there have been 3 games where they've defended scores.
Okay.
Certainly from my memory, and you would have played there heaps of times, but my memory of preparing teams to play there, chasing was always the preferred option, purely because that's the dynamics of the ground. There's some really deep pockets that are quite hard to defend, and if you've got a strong batting unit that know how to sort of hit those spaces, it's very hard to stop a team from going at 10 and over.
And also a bit of dew as well, especially around this time of the year. So yeah, but that gets difficult. But I guess Punjab should not worry too much because they prefer batting first, and that's something that they have done consistently.
All right, let's get into it then. The first 6 is crucial with the form that Prabh Singh and Priyansh Arya are in. Next represents Power Play Conversations. I guess it's a nice conversation to have now when we take these 2 uncapped players very seriously. How do we stop Priyansh and Prabh? What is our bowling plan to get these aggressive batters misfiring rather than firing with the resources Delhi come with today?
My personal take is you take their hands away from the game. So therefore, you know, with Priyansh, you know, ideally you bowl round the wicket, angle the ball into the stumps, so you're not allowing him to have those, you know, the freedom to hit through the offside. So you're asking him to hit against the angle of the delivery. The same with Prabh Simram, in that you come in wide and angle the ball into his stump, so you get inside the line of his bat. A lot of these players, particularly T20 players that are these power hitters, their hands come away from their body, and as soon as their hands come away from their body, they've got to somehow get their bat back on the line of where the path of the ball is.
They also seem a little confused about their choice of new ball bowlers. Now, Mukesh Kumar has started things, but who is best suited to test or challenge the weaknesses of Prabh and Priyansh?
Yeah, I guess they're probably looking at a little bit of swing. You need someone who bowls consistent length. I think that's why probably Mukesh has been given the new ball, because what happens in T20 cricket, especially with the kind of aggressive intent that these 2 batters have shown, is that the bowler starts to overthink, and says, okay, I need to bowl a slower ball, I need to bowl a Yorker. But if you hit consistent lengths and then sort of, especially with the new ball, try and tuck them in, then they try and come at you. That's then gives you an opportunity, because Prabh won't sit in that crease. He will certainly shimmy down and then look to hit you over mid-off, and you're better off if you're hitting good lengths rather than trying every ball.
They did fix one problem in the last game, even though they lost against Mumbai. They got wickets in the power play. Faf seemed to be on the money with bowling changes. Mustafizur Rahman is bowling quite well as a replacement player. So keeping all that in mind, let's get into first innings predictions. Game's underway. Dustin?
I'll say 215.
Ooh, big numbers again for Punjab Kings. I can tell you forecaster is loading at 207 right now. That's 3 dot balls to start with. Anil Kumble.
I think I'll go with 195.
195. Tom Moody.
203.
203. So we go for a high scoring game by and large. Very well. Let's see where this game stands. I'm not offering predictions anymore. I'm done.
I'd give us one.
188. Doesn't take much.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, Anil, Tom, Dustin. More from these fine men at the end of the Punjab Kings innings. It promises to be entertaining because that's how they bat. We'll pick up the chat on Nexa Presents ESPN Cricket Info Timeout.
Ready for it.
Thrilled for it.
Presenting Franks with Turbo Booster Jet Engine.
Nexa.